Now I need to switch to English to present our next speaker. It is Roman Reznikov. Roman is the Vice President at Intellias, President of PMI Ukraine chapter, the member of the review committee for the latest PMBOK 7th edition, Best Professional in Project Management in Ukraine in 2017, and PMI Young Professional Award 2020. Roman, hello, can you hear us?
Hi, Taras. Sure, I can hear you.
Great.
Hello, everyone.
Great. Then the stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Sharing my screen in a minute. Taras, please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yeah, everything is great.
Yeah, and in the last moment, I decided to switch a bit the topic of the presentation. So instead of portfolio management during the war, I call it business continuity during the war, because actually what we are going to discuss today goes a bit beyond just project, program, or portfolio management. It's more about the business. In general, I was asked to create this topic by PMI Italy first. That was like probably in March or April this year. So they were really excited to know how we in Ukraine keep running like projects, and they were interested in this topic. And that brings me to the idea that we live in pretty interesting time. From one side, the horrible things is going on. The war in Ukraine brings disasters to us in the news line every day. But from another side, we are getting pretty unique experience. No other project managers in the world would likely have any similar experience, or very few people in the world would have similar experience of running projects in such an environment. And that makes us stronger. As one of my clients tell me that if you are from Ukraine, you don't need to put stress resilient in your CV. So today I'm going to tell some cases or some recommendations or something that we faced helping our company to survive and overcome the war. Hopefully it will be helpful. And before we start, I assume there might be some theory about integration and so on and so forth. Fair, I don't know it. And today I'm going to just share what we really did and what was the case. My case is about IT business. So like, Intellias is the IT service company. I do assume still find something interesting. So to run, like a president responsible for quite a large portfolio of a business. Also, I'm a president at PMI Ukraine. Despite this, that sounds fancy, president, but this is like fully volunteer role. Me as well as Taras, another team of PMI, we're just working on growing project management maturity in Ukraine. Before moving to the main part, probably I would start the story from my background. So my career as a project manager started in 2013 at Donetsk. Before this, I worked in the bank field. I was head of IT department, and then I moved to the project management, like to the IT integrator company, where I did project management. Basically, I did commercial projects for other companies. And having less than 1 year experience, I was awarded. It was a huge project by that time for one of metal plants in Mariupol to implement one IT system. And that was a huge achievement for me. So it was much bigger than any other project that I did before. And I decided to make it like in a perfect way. That time, don't say to PMI, but I downloaded pirate version of PMBOK from some torrent tracker. And I started working on the documentation, and like during 2013, there was like preparation and planning stage. I like just did enchant in documentation, special attention management, even to like events or that might appear and impact the project. The best imagine. I did not take into account that in 2014, when the project implemented, like all my subcontractors and other wasted, got work. All the processes that we planned, nothing get worked in the conditions of the war. And that brings me to the idea that classical project management practices doesn't work well when you work in that hectic environment. So I realized that basically we need to redesign the approach. That was a very tough project. Unfortunately, one employee who was involved in it got killed during the project execution, which also impacted a lot on the way how I look at the project management during the war, or like running the business during the war. And I took this experience, and after 8 years, I realized that that experience might be useful again. And basically, in the end of the previous year, we realized that there is a chance that we would face the war with Russia again. And my today's presentation will consist of 2 parts. First part will be about the preparation, basically what we did before the war started. And the second part will be about what we did after the war started. 3 key bullets that I will deep dive during my presentation going forward. First, what we did, we formed the emergency team, basically team who was responsible to taking care about keeping the company up and running during that time. We defined possible scenarios and response strategies, and we did proper decisions and activities to enable those response actions. So everything is pretty much common sense. So let's go more precisely to each of the bullets. First, about emergency response team. That was responsible for all functions as well as all business vertical leaders. I was one of them, as well as our C-level. When we realized, we had 3 stages before the war. So we have business as usual, pre-emergency mode, and emergency mode, basically, which means that the war started already. We created this ERT team. And we defined that in pre-emergency mode, when we see that the risk of the war is rather high, we would meet on a daily basis to check where we are with the company, whether we have some risks, and every responsible from each business vertical, as well as from each function in the company, like legal, IT, finance, and others, they reported basically their status if they see any risk and if we need to make any fast decisions. So basically that was the first instrument. It was pretty efficient, and it gives us ability to make very fast decisions. If we see any risks with any clients, with any function, or something that might drop down due to potential war actions, we did very emergent decision to make some adjustments or run different kind of activities. So that was kind of the first step in our activity. Second, we start analyzing precisely our environment. That's something that, to be fair, I was missing before. So I don't know, some time ago, I thought that politics is only something that my grandpa is interested in. I was 30-something years old, and I was absolutely not in this topic. But having this kind of situation around us bring us to the idea that just SWOT analysis of the market is not something that will fully help us to survive during such time. We realized that understanding the political, economical, social, technological, and legal, environmental situation is very much important. For our case, political and economical and social, this 3 was even on a more higher interest from our end. I can't say that we knew before the war started that the war will start. We still we acknowledge the risk that it may start, but all of us, like the company that I work for, we believe that it's not gonna happen. So we couldn't believe that it would happen with such scale. But still, our clients were worrying, and we thought, okay, what if? What should we do if the war would start, and what would be our response for this? With the emergency team, we regularly analyzed the public sources, reliable media, and the information we can get. In case of any emergency, we agreed to meet in the short term. So, for example, when there was shelling in Lviv or like any other event, we agreed to have emergent meeting. Our main goal was to enable business to up and running. We built our strategy around employee safety first. So our key and first goal was to ensure that all employees are safe, and like employees are our biggest value, biggest asset, and all our efforts were first focused there. Secondly, we understand that we need to keep our service for the clients, and in order to do this, we need to ensure that those employees who are safe, they're able to continue their work if they're ready to do this. And basically enabling employee mobility, which from one side makes them safer, from another side enable them to keep client service, will help our company to survive. And basically this idea actually was surrounded with multiple areas, like ensure that our employees have access to electricity, internet, IT systems, and availability. The first and for the most, they are safe and their family is safe, because this is like a super important precondition. They have remote access to all the services, we can pay them, and so on and so forth. We need to ensure all those requirements. And basically our further steps were built around this. Talking about analyzing situation, we realized actually, like retrospectively, there was so many science and information about that. You know, like sometime after the war started, we were claiming that the government did not told us about this, but actually there was so many information on this. I even found like good article, couldn't find it for this presentation, from 2020, I believe, from New York Post, New York Times or Washington Post, which very exact plan how we're gonna start all these 9 directions. And you know, like we're just skipping this information because we're like we couldn't believe that it's going to be reality. And we start paying much more attention to the media content and tracking the situation precisely to understand what we can do. And based on this, we define the strategy, like scenarios of what might happen and what we should be prepared for. So first, we created business continuity plan. It was like very live document. I heard from the previous presenter that they also like use this, let's call it tool or document. But like after each ERT meeting, emergency response team meeting, we did adjustment to it, or like wherever we see any new information available on the public space, which somehow impacts our vision of the business continuity, we add this information there, or we adjust this plan. So basically that was very live document. I will tell a little bit later how we also use this document for the communication with our clients. We defined few scenarios. Those scenarios also were changing time to time, depending on the situation we saw. As you can see, our initial scenarios before the war started, we did not believe that Russia would attack from Belarus on Kiev. So we assumed that would be some kind of escalation from Crimea and Donbas region. And based on each scenario, we also had a list of activities that we plan to do in case such events would happen. We also analyzed risks regarding internet connection, how Ukraine is secured in terms of having like loss of internet, about the power supply. And basically, we also took into account all those factors to understand like where we are safe, or whether we need to strengthen some of our offices in terms of connection of the internet, or connection to the electrical network. We considered our offices as hubs. Initially, it was like Kiev and Lviv. Then, like actually, when the war started, we understand that Lviv is key option because key was on risk. And our goal was to ensure that we have all infrastructure available in those our offices. And basically, we created the response plan. We had strategy for like how we provide relocation services to our employees, what we offer them, how we enable their logistics, what we offer to those people who like go with their own car. So basically, we have all this requirement. We had the idea before the war that some of the employees which can be relocated abroad, but due to martial law, so we were not able to relocate male employees, only like female, and basically we need to readjust our strategy. The same for power supply, internet connection, and availability of our services, our back office. So for each of this item, we define the strategy. What shall we do to make sure that it's up and running and it's providing services we can operate as a company. As a result, was a set of activities we did. Power generators. We were one of the first users of Starlink. We migrate all our internal services to cloud. Our offices were prepared to host our employees from other locations, and basically it performed quite well. Majority of our employees who were just like relocating from different offices from Kyiv, Kharkiv, they stayed for some time in our office, and then like until we find some permanent or some long-term hosting for them and Lviv for the region, because it was like very challenging to find an apartment that time. So that was kind of set of activities that we did before the war. Now, then, after 24th of February, after the war started, we started execution of the strategy. I do remember it was like a bit funny moment when on 23rd of February, we talked with one of our key clients, and we tried to, they were like really worried about the situation, and because like we work with their core business, and me and my colleague, we tried to get some confidence, to bring them some confidence that everything's going to be okay, they shouldn't worry, and so on and so forth. And then in 24th of February, I woke up from the serene. I look at my phone and I saw 2 phone calls, one from my colleague, which we talked together to this client, and second one from my mom. And I realized that something that happened. Go to the news line, try to understand what is going on. So for all of us, and despite all those BCPs, there was quite stressful situation. Still, it was some level of a surprise. We did not expect it's going to be on that scale. But basically, we started execution of our plan, and that went quite well. We helped with the relocation to all our employees and their families. Overall, we relocated about 1,300 employees, 1,300 people. Those are employees and their families, and about 300 pets. So in our office, as I mentioned, we use it as a hub. There was 3 different floors. One floor was like for our employees with cats, another for our employees with dogs, and another floor was for our employees with other animals. There was one guy with iguana, and we were afraid that this iguana will eat some Labrador, and they have dedicated floor for those kind of animals. So we helped with the financial support to our employees in terms of relocation. So sometimes it was quite costly. We arranged children rooms. We also heavily used mental health services, like working with the people, because most of them were quite stressed, and we did our best to help them in these directions, and many other areas. We helped with the apartment, with the logistics. So it was like pretty tough relocation project for the first months. Like our company was like heavily working in this directions, helping people to move from close to war areas to more safer zone, to Lviv or the Carpathian region, or very west of the Ukraine. Very important item of this strategy was timely communication with employees. So first and very helpful tool was letters from our CEO. Like we gave very transparent situation where we are, what we do, what is our plans, and that helped a lot to our employees to be sure that and to be confident in our company, to realize that we are not going to leave them alone. We will help them. The business is up and running. Our clients are staying with us. Everything is okay. And basically, those kind of letters were pretty important. Like first time when the war just started, it was like, I think it was even twice a week, but then it was like weekly, then like rarely. But first time it was like very important to have this connection between C-level and all our employees. Also, we use town halls like bi-weekly, monthly, given regular updates, given the information about the situation in the company. And that was also pretty important for our employees. And there was like big part on like project managers and leadership team. One-on-one calls with the employees were also a very important part of this strategy. And we get like it was like weekly or sometimes even more frequent, and we get very fresh information about the employees, where they are, whether they feel stressed, and so on and so forth. So basically we were trying to understand their mood and what we as a company can do to help them to overcome this tough period of time. Overall, our employees rate our efforts to help them very high. We experienced probably the lowest attrition in the company's history. So majority of the people stayed with us, and there was like very low attrition level. We also did few surveys asking people how they rate our effort during the war, whether they are satisfied with the evacuation process, and the responses were very high. So people really appreciate our efforts. In general, we see increased satisfaction of the people from working with the company, and we see that our efforts were valued by our employees. We also keep analysis of possible situations. So like we did this on regular basis, almost every week we meet and discuss what might potentially happen. So we consider different scenarios, even if the Kyiv can be captured, how we are going to relocate and remain in our employees in Kyiv and Odessa. Also, we were like considering even more pessimistic scenarios, escalation of the west of the Ukraine. So like we keep working on this BCP, and it was like pretty live document, and we keep updating it on a regular basis. Well, so the next pillar is actually working with the client. So for us, it was not only important to make sure that our employees are safe, we also take care about safety of our clients' business. Before the war, we make sure that all the equipment, if you have any from the clients, were located to Lviv or Kyiv, and then we relocated it from Kyiv to Lviv. We also use in RUG report, like this is the sample, I will explain how that works, but we have special tools for that. When each project manager on a weekly basis assess different aspects of the project, so like scope, schedule, budget, and so on and so forth, so multiple areas. Then those data are aggregated on the next level, and basically the heads of departments or heads of the units, they can see basically on the project level whether we are green, amber, or red based on the inputs from this chart. Then we can see it on department level. Then we can see it on a like segment level. Actually, we have four. We have segment, which is business vertical. We have department, unit, and project level. So we have very up-to-date information about any risks that we potentially see on the project, and we keep this up to date. All significant risks were highlighted on the ERT meeting with the team on top level, and basically we as a company were deciding what we can do, how we should react. If you see that, for example, clients are too concerned about the situation, we need to like probably arrange call between our CEOs and so on and so forth. So basically we reacted on those situations quite rapidly. Also, we tracked on the company level how many people are operational, how many of them like cannot perform their work due to some reasons. And like the maximum that we have, about 10%, 10 to 12% just in the beginning of the war were not operational. But then actually, like both our company as well as our clients were quite surprised that many people get back to work quite fast. And many people actually prefer to work just to somehow switch from the news line. And majority of our clients, they have like exceed expectation CSATs, satisfaction surveys, just because that fast relaunch of our services. So basically there was no interruption, no delay in releases, no like gap in quality. So it was like pretty fast. Also, we tracked where our employees are located. Basically, we tried to relocate as much as possible employees to the west of Ukraine, as it was like safer. And we keep tracking how many, what are the percentage of the employees outside of Ukraine, the west of Ukraine, or other Ukrainian regions. But basically, we achieved quite fast, like the percentage where all our employees were in the safe zone. We did not have employees on the occupied areas, so we're like very close to the military activities. Yeah, so also there was important piece, communication with the clients. Still we wrote CEO letter weekly or ad hoc to our clients. Specifically, it was important when it was triggered by some events, for example, some escalation, or where like most majority of our clients knew that Lviv is our core location. So whatever it was, like any missile attack in Lviv, we wrote immediate letter to our clients that everything's okay, we're safe, nobody was injured from the company. I mean, so those CEO letters were a pretty important part of the communication. Another tool that we used actually was those BCP plans, business continuity plans. We shared them, like we have different forms of them. We have short form, which is like just 2 pages with very high level information. For some clients, it was like quite okay. For some clients where they have risk departments, large enterprises, and they need somehow to understand how we work with the risk, we shared with them the full version, which were like quite a big document. Also, we have FAQs for our clients where like we try to answer almost asked questions. And the important point were calls with the clients and basically meeting with the clients. So it was way more frequent than it usually occurs. And we try to show to our clients that we're able to continue our work. We are like fully operational and we are able to continue our services. So that was core line of our communication with our clients. And yeah, in terms of our further plans, there were like few, like about that was about the clients, about the company. There were also a few directions. So first is budget rebalancing. We cut some of our cost or planned cost, and we allocate specific buffers, for example, to help people with relocation, with financial support and others. So basically, we try to make it cost neutral for the company, cutting one cost and increasing another one. Second is basically we enabled our globalization strategy. So before the war, we had like 95% of delivery in Ukraine. And our goal were like to have another 5% within a few years. But basically, war triggered that we speed up this globalization significantly. So we have about 25% of delivery right now outside of Ukraine. We opened 8 new offices. So we have office in Croatia, Bulgaria, Spain, Portugal, Colombia, India. We used to like we had before in Poland, but we grow it significantly. So basically we diversified our business a lot, and basically that's helped our clients to trust us more and be more confident that we can continue our business. As well, it helps us a lot to acquire new businesses. That was also very important. And actually, business development function was also adjusted a lot. Previously, like we were heavily relying on marketing, but now we adjusting this strategy in order to engage more sales leaders to promote our services on the local market. So basically, we did significant adjustments in business development and client acquisition function. Yeah, basically, this is how our company looks like right now. War helped us to boost diversification of the business, boost the globalization, and we became even stronger with all that. So right now we operate in multiple regions. We growed our clients base. Since the beginning of the war, there were only few small clients who stopped business with us. The majority number of our clients, they kept business with us. For some clients, we moved part of the development outside of the Ukraine, but in general, right now we have more than 200 open vacancies, and like 60 or 70% of the vacancies are in Ukraine. So we keep running business and keep growing in Ukraine as well as in all other regions. Probably the last message from my end is the quote of Friedrich Nietzsche: "What does not kill me makes me stronger." So I think those kind of events, those horrible events, will make us much, much stronger. And I do believe that project managers and just managers from Ukraine would be one of the best managers in the world. That's all from my side. Taras, do we have any questions from the audience?
All right. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Yeah, but anyway, I have my questions to ask anyway. The first question will be like this. You've mentioned a lot of exercise that happened on the top management level, like the meetings, the specific team to be allocated, etc., etc. Can you dive a little bit deeper into what was happening or what was expected from your middle level management? And I'm not talking even like about like delivery directors or the equivalent that you might have, but regular like project manager, even not like senior project manager, just a project manager or a project coordinator, or maybe you have them scrum masters, something like this. The question is like, were you training them for this type of situation? Is it like the regular expectation from them to manage this type of chaos, etc.? What happened on the middle management level?
Taras, I believe my internet connection dropped for a moment. So I heard about what was the activities from project managers, scrum masters, and middle management.
Yeah.
And what was the second part of the question? Sorry, I missed it.
I meant like in more detail, like were you training them specifically, or is it the regular expectation in your company for the mid management to deal with this type of chaos, or how did it work in general?
Yeah, so I would actually split it also into two parts. First part was focus on people, and it was very important for them to track the mood of the team and understand the health of the team. Whereas they feel okay mentally, whether someone needs any specific help or support, whether we as a company need to support someone. So those level of management is more close to people, and basically we required from them feedback, very fast feedback from what is going on. Also, they're closer to clients, close to the leadership. All our managers, they have direct contact with their clients, and whatever they feel that something is not okay, the client is worrying, we have risk of losing business, we have risk of failed delivery. There was their goal to also inform us and enable this kind of bottom-up communication. So they actually all this, like I described the process from top level, but exactly the work was done by project managers and scrum masters. So they're the one who told us about all risks, who told us about all issues with the client, with people. And I think they were the core. So the strong leadership that we had on that level, project managers, scrum masters, they were enabling us to make the right decisions and basically drive company into the right direction. So I would say, like, actually the whole this business continuity was enabled by this level exactly.
Great, thank you.
No, to be fair, there were no specific trainings for them. We had few sessions about the mental health. So we realized that like this topic is kind of new for our market. Not that many people pay a lot of attention or enough attention to this. And we did few sessions in those directions. Like this is the only probably something different that was not before, or the highlights that we did to make sure that everyone is aware about this mental health aspect.
Yeah, sort of supporting question from the chat. This mid-management level, did they participate into the BCP plan creation or preparation somehow as a feedback group, focus group, maybe contributors, or were they just like informed?
No, so basically how this document lived, we created the first version and then we shared it with like project managers and scrum masters, and we get their feedback. For example, some of them told us, okay, guys, that's not going to work for my client. I need completely different form. And we did something different. And thanks to their feedback loop, actually, the document was adjusted. And something that we discussed on each ERT meeting, this is mostly the feedbacks that we have from clients, from people. And we said, okay, like we need to change something because we had this feedback. So exactly, they were the one who actually contributed a lot and who was the key driver of those changes. Because like I have 600 engineers and 54 clients, so I have no clue about what is going on in each particular project with each person, and I get this information from 70 managers that are in my team.
All right, cool. Another question is, what is your plan on creating or supporting the BCP plan until the end of the war?
To be fair, right now we are more in business as usual mode. Like we stabilize the situation, like from the business standpoint and business perspective, we will diversify our business, and we understand that basically that we able to continue business and like having a situation like this. We consider like different scenarios of possible escalations, of possible like changes in economical environment. We keep analysis of like this pestle analysis of political and economical situation. But we like right now we are not driven by business continuity plan. Right now we are like in business as usual mode, just keeping track on what is going on, and if we see another situation which may significantly impact our operation, we would probably go back to creation BCP for this particular situation. So those BCP was focused to solve specific specific event, which is war. It's happened. We live in it. So right now we're just monitoring the environment to understand what we need to do next.
So it sounds to me like you have a regular like risk review meetings on the top management level, and in case of any like expectations of the specific catastrophic events, then you basically go back to creating sort of
exactly.
But you don't have it all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Right. There is a comment in the chat that one of the client of Anna insisted on having a disclaimer directly in the system that they developed for them, informing that this product was developed by brave Ukrainian team during the war times. Can you recall any examples of how the clients support you? Not just like, oh, we are not leaving you guys, we continue business with you, but any specific support that you can
Yeah, actually there were like quite many. First it was donations, and for me it was surprise. We had one client which were never like big supporter of us, our champion, and he was like always quite picky and very tough client. But after the beginning of the war, he shared with us that he did a huge donation, to be fair, and that was a big surprise for us. Also, our clients like. I can't say just because of us, but I think working with our team was one of important item for decision making that stopped business with Russia. Specifically, we had one client, and basically they do the ranking of legal companies in United Kingdom, and like they do this worldwide, but they're originally from United Kingdom, and they just removed all Russian companies from the list, which is like it's like for a restaurant to lose a Michelin star, and many companies did things like this, even if this impacts their business a lot. They do such kind of actions. We have also like food startup, and they sent to Ukraine lots of boxes with the food and help the refugees. There were quite many different acts by our clients, statements, how they support us. I don't even recollect all of them, but like there were quite many, and there was it motivates our teams a lot. But probably the biggest motivator when our clients just stopped their business with Russia or just got the teams from Russia. So I think that this was the best present for our teammates.
Yeah, understood. The opposite question is, you mentioned that you lost some clients, of course. Any details on that, like the reasons or how abrupt this process was? Maybe some like percentage of your portfolio, like whatever your NDA allows you to say about it.
So just for general understanding, my portfolio, which is 30% of the business of the company, 54 clients, we lose one client, and we had one person as this client. So I'm not even sure that this is because of war, but it was not significant. There was one Ukrainian client, and we lose them because like that was bigger client, but we lose them because they were like in tough situation, and they had to put on pause our business. I don't recall any significant loss of the clients because of the war. During this year, there were like a few rundowns of the teams. There were a few rundowns of the clients, but that was in majority cases, it was about the financial situation of the clients. For example, startups, they are facing tough times today, and like there were rundowns of that. There was no significant rundown in my team related to the war when the client said, okay, guys, you have war, let's run down the team. There were like few clients just because they're large enterprise, they told us, okay, we want keep business with you, but in Poland. And like we need to rebalance the team. So that was the case in my situation.
Right. Is there any particular team who is overviewing the political and economical situation, raising appropriate risk for the business execs, or these are all execs themselves? Like, do you have any lobbyists?
We have analytical teams for this. Analytical team. We have few people who are doing this exercise.
Okay. Any ears in our parliament, if I may ask?
No, only no insights or something that you can find, just observing the media, the information available publicly. So we have even list of the sources which we are relying on, analyzing this like the situation. So no insights or someone tells something.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
To be fair, I don't know if I should say this, but before the war, we had actually one insight from very, very trustful insight, which told us, guys, no worries, no war is gonna happen. This is just, like political games. relax and so on and so forth. So that was like very, very big insight. Since that time, we do not rely on such insights anymore.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Speaking of rebalancing teams, as you mentioned, of course, I understood that you had a lot of openings now and a lot of new clients coming in. With the current war situation, were there any specific changes into your pre-sales or sales process, anything like to the pitches or to how you estimate the effort, estimate the projects, etc., under the war condition in Ukraine?
No significant changes in like estimation process. So we have pretty robust approach how we do this in the company. From the sales, pre-sales, marketing perspective, yes, we do have changes. And we are in process of these changes because they are not that fast to make. Also, our PR strategy, we changed a bit. There might be like the only changes is because the market dynamic got changed. So the stuff in 2021 is quite different to the stuff in 2022, as well as the stuff in Ukraine is quite different to the stuff in Spain or I don't know in Colombia. And basically that results in the way how we adjusted our business and how we build expectations to our clients. We already we had some turbulence because working on the new markets is always a challenge. Now we more or less understand how that works, how to calculate the economical such work, and basically just tweak our way to estimate this. But no big changes, no significant changes, to be fair.
Right.
Maybe just the only thing is that previously we had Ukraine and Poland. And in Ukraine and Poland, we have quite simple taxation, and it's quite easy to understand total cost of the company. When you go to a country like Colombia, the taxes there is just madness. It's impossible to calculate just in Excel, and the variety of the taxes might vary twice for the same time for the person, depends of 20 different parameters, and that creates some complexity. But we more or less understand how we calculate total cost of the company, and right now, basically, that's pretty simple exercise for us.
All right. How do you deal with the Russian or Belarus employees in your company? Is it the case at all? And do you have any conflict with this regard?
Yeah, so we have 0 employees in Russia. We used to have 0, and we did not hire anyone after the war. And we had few employees in Belarus. Right after the war, we offered them relocate to other countries if they want to continue to work with us, or we just stop the business with them. So, and right now we have also 0 employees in Belarus. We have just few employees who are living abroad with they're from Belarus originally, but they don't want to live under such circumstances in this country anymore, and they keep working with us.
Yeah, maybe to make this question more particular, do you have a Russian employees in the company, not in the location, but Russian origins, so to say?
To be fair, I don't know.
Okay.
I do assume there might be someone with the Russian passport somewhere in the locations where we hired, but to be fair, I'm not aware about such cases. I do believe we had someone, but not sure about if we stay with them right now.
Yeah, I understand. In my company, for example, we do have for instance, I don't remember the exact numbers, but we have around 10 people from Ukraine and around 3 or 4 people from Russia. And our CEO, when the war started, first, following the let's say the default democratic values that I'm in the Netherlands, so they're all inherit from time to time. He wants to basically had a joint, so to say, problem solving meetings, but our Ukrainian community very quickly told him that it's not exactly appropriate. So now he's talking separately to us and separately to these people about their problems. All of them are like more than 5-7 years living in the Netherlands, so they're not specifically pro current policy from Russia, but yeah, there is a case that our C-level puts fingers on the pulse to check how they're doing, how we are doing, and not necessarily blend us in one room. Oh no, that might be the question as well. Very popular question from the previous keynote. How do you deal with the cases of people having putting really high pressure on themselves? Like, I don't go on PTO, I don't go on anything, I should work, our army works, I should do the same, etc.
Yeah, so this is one of the jobs for project managers, exactly. So in I don't know, I think in every country, in every company, project manager sometimes needs to wear a hat of how this like psychologists and talk to the person, understand their like mood and mental health. So we do promote the option to go on sabbatical or take vacation if I see that the person is close to burnout. But those cases are handled in majority by project managers. But we also we use external also doctors who may have remote sessions with people. We suggest, so we are not like pushing people and forcing them to go to sabbatical or to vacation or go to doctor or something, but we may recommend, and the project manager is supposed to do this.
I see. From the top management level, do you see any percentage rising in terms of like the sick leave, times off, or something like this?
Do you mean in general in the company?
Yeah. Like, I understand that this is the primary responsibility of the mid-level management to take care of that.
So in general, according to statistics that I have, like it's a little less than norm. So people take a little less vacation than they used to do this year before.
Okay.
But I can't say this is something significant. So the deviation is pretty small.
All right, I see. Well, thank you very much for your time and for the insightful speech.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you everyone who joined this event and donated to help our army, our country. Thank you for your initiative.
Thanks.
Thank you, Taras.
Thanks.